So it has been a while since I've been on here. I did exactly what I did last year. I took a couple months off, spent time with my family, and just kind of just went over my gardening for a couple months, went through my garden book, and just kind of get prepped for the new garden season coming up, which we are finally here and ready to prep the garden. And I made a to-do list of things that I wanted to get done this spring, and one of the first things that I wanted to get done was I wanted to repaint all of my outdoor buildings and our entryway. I usually do this every single year just to preserve our wood that we have on some of these buildings, and I didn't get to it last year, so I'm definitely a year behind on putting a fresh coat of paint on all of this. So I am definitely putting a fresh coat of paint on it this year, and a lot of this stuff is actually built out of pallet wood. Me and my husband used to get some pallet wood from his work, and we used to just break it all down, take all the nails out of the wood, and we built this chicken house. It was the very first project we did, probably about 9 years ago. And this thing is still holding up really well. We actually transported it to this house. We had it at our old house, and it is holding up really well. It has been moved around quite a bit, and I'm just always putting a fresh coat of paint on it just to preserve this wood because it's not treated wood at all. And then this is our pig house over here. This is actually made out of metal on most of it. The front part on the top half of it is actually made out of pallet wood, so I like to put a fresh coat of paint, which you can tell I don't paint the back side of it because this metal is already white. But eventually I want to get a paint sprayer, and I want to do a fresh coat of paint all the way around. Nobody really ever goes in the back side of the pig house but my family. Eventually I would like to put paint on the whole entire building, but I'm just focusing more on the sides and the front and just giving it a fresh coat of paint. We don't have any pigs right now, so it's really nice that I can get in here and just clean all this up and make it look so much better. And again, I went to our entryway where you come into our driveway and gave this a fresh coat of paint. This really needed it. It was just nasty looking, so fresh coat of paint looks so much better. It's gonna look so beautiful when the green grass comes on. So it's really nice to actually get back into the garden. It has been so windy though, like for a couple weeks, just always windy up here on this hill that we live on, and it's almost just miserable, but I have to get things done going. So I'm planting potatoes, trying to get that in. I'm actually planting way more potatoes than I ever have, just because this year I had the opportunity to sell extra produce from our garden, and I'm excited because I have always looked for an opportunity to sell vegetables. The first things first is we're going to feed our family, and then whatever we have extra of, we're going to sell the vegetables. So that's my goal this year. So I'm starting off planting potatoes, and I like to go 4 to 6 inches deep and about a foot apart. I like to cram these in these beds here because this is like the best place that I have to grow potatoes in these garden beds. And I actually want to try to grow some in ground eventually, but I don't really have the space this year because I'm kind of trying to figure out how to succession plant all of my vegetables this year. So since I am growing a lot of potatoes and I want them to go further, so I take a whole potato and I've been cutting them in half or into thirds, and I like to keep at least 2 eyes on the potatoes, and the eyes, that's what the plant usually comes out of and out of the ground. So if you at least have 2 to 3 eyes on your potato, it's really good chances that you're going to get a really good strong plant. So I went ahead and basically cut most of mine into thirds just so I can get a really good long stretch out of all these potatoes that I bought, and I can save just a little bit more money. So when I cut the potato, I usually wait at least 2 or 3 days for them to cure. Sometimes I even just wait 1 day because I need to get them in really quick, but I think I waited 2 days after I cut these ones, and I just want them to kind of scab over a little bit where you cut them, and that way they don't rot in the ground whenever you have your spring rain. So I feel really good about this because we're not going to have any rain for a while, and I gave them enough time to kind of cure, and I'm controlling the watering right now, and they'll have time to kind of sprout up a little bit before we get our April rain. I like to mention really quick about cutting the potato. You get bigger potatoes if you cut the potato because they have more space to grow, because if you plant a whole potato, all of those eyes that are on that whole potato produces so many plants that you have smaller potatoes in the ground trying to grow and compete with each other. So I'm hoping to get really big potatoes this year because I cut everything. So I moved on, and another thing I've been doing is taking my homemade compost, and I've just been putting a thin layer on some of the rows that I know I'll be planting really soon. This is my onion row, so I will be planting this very soon, and I'm just going to prep everything. And these are just leftover cover crops that you see here in the row. I just gotta rip them out, turn them over, and then I gotta put in my soil amendment. So the only thing that I need to add to my soil is calcium. It's gonna be different for everybody's soil, so you just have to do a soil test for your own soil at your house. And you can kind of see there in the background right there, my garlic is growing and it's doing wonderful. I won't be able to sell any this year. We'll just be able to keep all of this for our family. But my plan is to hopefully I will grow more for next year for selling. So I'm actually getting ready to plant my brassicas really soon. So I'm going around the garden and I'm trying to find my hoops for my frost cloths. And I have lost most of my hoops. They're around fruit trees or my new flower bed that I'm going to be talking about probably in the next video. So I'm going around trying to find all of these so I'm not just scatterbrained after I plant trying to find these. So I'm trying to be ahead of the game, get everything organized. And my next thing I'll be doing here is amending all of this soil, putting compost down, putting calcium down, and putting my plastic down. But right now I'm just gonna get my hoops all found and put in place because that's my next thing. I'll be planting my brassicas in the next week or two. So one major thing that we have been doing this spring is it's actually mulch time. And what I say about that, we haven't mulched in a couple years. We do here and there in like little spots, but not the whole entire garden. And this includes the berry patch as well. So this year is the year that we actually have mulched the berry patch and the garden. And I can say right now, making this video, that it's all completely done. I know when I was filming this, it wasn't completely done just yet. We were just starting to mulch the main garden, but the berry patch is already done and now the main garden is done. And it was such hard work. I hate when we have to mulch because probably every 2 to 3 years, we have to mulch the whole entire garden, and we have to do this to keep the weeds under control in our walking paths. And I'm telling you, I am so glad that we do this because we fought so many weeds last year that it was insane. Like, we probably picked more weeds than we did harvesting our vegetables. And when I talk about hard work, it's really hard work. We have just a wheelbarrow and we just scoop all of the mulch into the wheelbarrow, and then we like wheel it all the way to the gardens and into the rows. We don't have any machinery or anything like that. So it's been really hard work, which my husband actually has done most of the work this year because I've been seeding a bunch of rows already and cleaning up the garden. So he's really helped me with finishing up the mulch this year. So honestly, I'm just waiting to plant on my plant dates, and I'm really excited to kind of relax now that we got all of that done. And I say relax because we are getting ready to just go full on garden mode. So I'm going to relax just for a little bit before all the chaos starts happening and trying to figure out how to plant as many plants as I can into the garden to not only have for our family, but also to sell extras of to make extra money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'm going to end this video here. I haven't really filmed much of anything else, so I'm just going to catch you guys on the next video. And I appreciate you guys being here today, and I'm sorry it's been a couple months since I've been on here, but hopefully I will have my camera from now on filming in the garden now that I have a lot going on.